The wind howled through the cracks in the old hospital windows, bringing with it the bite of winter's arrival. Clara Vasconcelos pulled her coat tighter around her as she walked down the dim hallway of St. Aurelius Psychiatric Hospital. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting long, uneasy shadows that seemed to shift when she wasn't looking. St. Aurelius had once been a grand place, a sanctuary for those lost in their minds. Now, it was a relic, a dying institution awaiting closure, scheduled to shut its doors by the end of the season. Most of the patients had been relocated. Only a few remained, those who had nowhere else to go, and Clara with nowhere else to be. She had worked here for 5 years, long enough to know its secrets, or so she thought, long enough to feel the weight of its walls pressing down on her spirit. The staff, reduced to a handful, moved like ghosts through the corridors, tending to patients but never speaking of what they felt, of what they saw. Clara wasn't like them. She didn't believe in ghosts, or angels, or demons. She believed in medicine, in facts, in things she could touch and explain. And yet something about today felt different. Dr. Almeida, the hospital's director, called her into his office. The room was cluttered with files and old books, the air heavy with the scent of damp paper. "Clara, we have a new patient." She blinked. "A new patient? I thought we weren't taking any more." He handed her a file, thin, barely a page. "Special case, came from the diocese, under confidentiality." She opened the file. No photo, just a name. Unknown, no age, no diagnosis. Just a note. "Room 23. Do not move." "Room 23, that room's sealed." Dr. Almeida looked uncomfortable. "It's open now, and he's there. I want you to look after him." "Why me?" "He asked for you, by name." Her blood ran cold. "That's impossible." I thought the same. But he insisted. Clara closed the file. "Fine. I'll see him." Room 23 was at the far end of the West Wing, a part of the hospital most avoided. The door had been locked for years, ever since a patient hanged himself inside. It was said to be cursed. Of course, Clara didn't believe that, not really. As she approached, the door was slightly ajar. The light inside was dim, almost golden. She pushed it open. Sitting on the bed, dressed in white, was a man. He looked up, and Clara froze. His eyes, ice blue, almost glowing. "Clara," he said softly, "you came. Do I know you?" "Not yet, but you will." Clara stood at the threshold of room 23, her hand still on the door handle, heart pounding in her chest. The man seated on the bed regarded her with calm intensity, as if he had been waiting for her forever. He looked ordinary, almost too ordinary. Medium height, pale skin, dark hair that curled slightly at the ends. His clothes were clean, almost pristine, the white fabric untouched by the decay of the hospital around them. But it was his eyes that held her. They seemed too light, too deep, like frozen lakes reflecting something ancient. "Sit," he said, gesturing to the chair beside the bed. Clara hesitated. "How do you know my name?" "I was told, by them." "Them?" He smiled gently. "The ones who speak in the light." She frowned. "What's your name?" "I have many names. I need one for the records." "You can call me Gabriel." Clara felt a chill. Gabriel, the name of the archangel. Coincidence? She wasn't sure. "Why are you here?" "To help." "Help who?" "You." Clara stood up, shaking her head. "Look, Gabriel, or whatever your name is, this isn't a game. People don't just show up in this place without a reason. There is always a reason." She turned to leave. "Clara." She froze. "Be careful in the West Wing tonight." "What?" "They'll come. But not for you." Back at the nurse's station, Clara tried to shake off the encounter. She reviewed the few files left, checked on the other patients, and avoided the West Wing. By midnight, the hospital was silent, the kind of silence that seemed to hum with hidden sounds. Then came the scream. A patient in the West Wing. Clara ran. She found one of the older patients collapsed in his room. Eyes wide, mouth open, like he had seen something divine or monstrous. He was dead. The doctors found no cause. Heart failure, they said. But Clara knew. Gabriel had known. In the days that followed, the hospital changed. Gabriel remained calm, never asking for anything, never leaving room 23. But around him, things happened. Patients who had been unresponsive for years suddenly spoke. One, blind since childhood, claimed to see for the first time. Another, tormented by voices, now slept in silence. Clara watched, confused, cautious. The other staff members whispered. Some called it a blessing, others a curse. "He's an angel," one nurse said. "Sent to save us. Or judge us," another replied. Clara confronted Gabriel. "Are you doing this?" they asked, and I gave. "But people are dying. Some must go for others to be healed." She felt anger rise. "That's not how medicine works. Medicine heals the body. I heal the soul." Clara walked away, but doubt gnawed at her. That night, another patient died. Peacefully, in his sleep. No pain, no fear. But next door, a young woman who hadn't spoken in years whispered to Clara. "He showed me the light." Clara's hands shook as she took her pulse. Normal. Gabriel watched her from his room. "You fear what you cannot see, Clara. I fear what I don't understand." "Then let me show you." She refused. But each day, the line between miracle and horror blurred. More patients were healed. More patients died. And Clara, caught between logic and faith, didn't know which side to take. One evening, she found an old patient journal in the archives, dated 20 years ago. A patient had written about a man in room 23, a man who called himself Gabriel. She read on, her breath catching. "He says he's an angel, but angels don't kill, do they?" The corridors of St. Aurelius felt different now. Clara walked them daily, yet each step echoed louder. The lights flickered longer, and the shadows seemed to cling to her like smoke. Every time she passed room 23, she felt it. Gabriel's presence, calm but heavy, like a weight pressing on her chest. She avoided his room for hours at a time, yet the patients kept changing. One by one, their illnesses vanished, replaced by eerie serenity. But the deaths continued too, quiet, painless, but unnatural. The hospital murmured at night. One evening, as Clara finished checking on the last remaining patients, she heard it. A voice, low, whispering her name. She turned quickly. Nothing. The corridor stretched, empty, but the voice returned. "Clara." Her breath caught. She gripped the wall, trying to steady herself. "Who's there?" Silence. She quickened her pace, heading back to the station. As she turned the corner, she almost collided with Dr. Almeida. "Clara, you look pale. Are you all right?" "I heard someone." He frowned. The hospital plays tricks, especially at night. She wanted to believe him, but she knew. That night, she returned to room 23. Gabriel was sitting, eyes closed, serene. "You hear them now, don't you?" he asked, without opening his eyes. "Who?" "The ones who never left." She shivered. "What do they want?" "Justice, peace, or maybe just to be heard." "You're causing this." He opened his eyes, and they seemed almost human now. "I only reveal what was already here." Later, in the dim hallway, Clara sat alone. A patient approached her, one of the elderly ones. "He speaks to me too," the woman said, eyes wide. "Says I'll be next. But I'm not afraid." Clara stood, shaking. "You don't have to listen to him." "Oh, but I want to." The next morning, Clara went to the archives. She needed answers. The journal she had found wasn't enough. She needed to know who Gabriel really was, what room 23 held, and why the hospital had kept it closed. The archives were a mess of dust and decay, files stacked chaotically, names long forgotten. She searched for hours until a box caught her eye. Room 23, restricted. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside, photos, reports, and more journals. She read. Years ago, a patient, also calling himself Gabriel, had arrived, brought by priests. He claimed to heal, to enlighten. And like now, patients recovered and died. Staff began to disappear. One nurse in her notes described dreams, visions of wings made of light and flame. The final report was chilling. Gabriel is not an angel. He is something older, something that feeds. Clara closed the file, heart pounding. Gabriel had been here before, and now he was back. She ran to Dr. Almeida, slamming the file on his desk. You knew. He didn't deny it. I had no choice. What do you mean? They sent him. From the diocese. They said it was our duty to accept him. Clara's voice shook. He's killing them. He's saving them, in his way. This isn't salvation. Dr. Almeida stood, his face pale. You can't stop him. No one can. Clara sat alone in her apartment that night, the box of files beside her, unopened. The whispers from the hospital still echoed in her mind. The eyes of Gabriel haunted her, even behind closed lids. But worse than that, something else stirred. A memory she had fought to bury, her mother. Clara had grown up in a house of faith, strict, devout. Her mother believed in angels, in miracles, in punishment. When Clara was 12, her younger brother fell ill, an illness no doctor could name. Her mother refused hospitals, trusting only in divine intervention. She prayed, fasted, begged for an angel to come. No one came. Clara watched him die, slowly, painfully, and her mother, she called it God's will. From that day, Clara rejected all faith. She would never again trust in anything she couldn't see, touch, explain. Until now. She returned to the hospital with a storm inside her. Gabriel was waiting. Clara, he said softly, I'm sorry for your brother. She froze. How do you know? I see it in you, the pain, the doubt. You don't know anything about me. I know you've been waiting for answers. I can give them. She shook her head. You're a liar. No, I'm what you wanted, even if you don't believe. Later, Clara sat in the chapel, empty for years. She stared at the old altar, at the dust-covered symbols. What do you want from me? No answer, only silence. And then, a whisper. Believe. Transition. She left the chapel, torn between the past she hated and the present she couldn't escape. Faith wasn't just being tested, it was breaking. That night, Clara returned to room 23, not as a nurse but as a seeker. Gabriel stood, waiting. Are you ready to see? Show me. He placed a hand on her forehead, and the room dissolved. She was in the past, not her past, but the hospital's. She saw other nurses, other doctors, tending to patients. She saw a man, radiant, healing with touch, with words. Gabriel. But his eyes, they were different, darker. She saw patients healed, rising in joy. Then, one by one, they fell. Empty, silent, gone. She saw staff vanish one by one until only fear remained. And Gabriel, always the same, watching. Then, the vision shifted. She saw herself, younger, crying beside her brother's bed. Her mother, praying. And behind them, a figure, Gabriel, watching. Clara pulled away, gasping. You were there. I was always there. Why? Because you called me. She shook her head. No, that wasn't me. It was your pain, your need. And I came. She stepped back. What are you? He smiled. The answer, the light, the end. Clara didn't sleep. How could she? Every time she closed her eyes, she saw him, Gabriel, standing over her brother, standing in room 23, standing inside her mind. By dawn, she was back at the hospital, walking the silent halls, as if guided by something beyond her will. She entered room 23. He was waiting. "You saw," he said. Clara nodded. "I saw enough." "Then you understand?" "No, I understand nothing." Gabriel stood, walking slowly toward her. "This place, this world, it's broken. People suffer, cry, beg for salvation. I am that answer." "At what cost?" "Balance. For every soul healed, another must be released." Clara's voice trembled. "Released? Freed from pain, from the weight of this world." She stepped back. "That's murder. That's mercy." He reached out, touching her shoulder. "You can stop it, Clara." "How?" "Join me. Guide them. Help me decide." "I won't be part of this." Gabriel's eyes softened. "You already are." She fled, her mind spiraling. The hospital seemed alive, whispering, watching. At the nurses' station, the few remaining staff moved mechanically, as if under a spell. They greeted her with hollow smiles. She knew Gabriel had touched them too. In the archives, she found the last piece. A note, written by a nurse from decades ago. To end him, one must choose, light or shadow, belief or denial, sacrifice or surrender. Clara's heart raced. The answer wasn't just to stop Gabriel, it was to face herself. The room was darker than before. Gabriel stood in the center, his white clothes glowing faintly. "Clara," he whispered, "it's time." She held the note tightly, her hands shaking. "I won't let you take anyone else." He tilted his head. "You can't stop me, but you can save them." "How?" "Give yourself. Become the guardian. Hold the balance." Clara stepped forward. "What happens to me?" "You stay here forever, but they live." Tears welled in her eyes. "Why me?" "Because you called me, because you are strong." She fell to her knees. "I can't. You must." Suddenly the walls trembled, lights flickered. Gabriel knelt beside her. "Choose." Clara looked into his eyes and saw everything, her pain, her brother's death, her mother's madness, and beyond that, the hope she had lost. She stood. "If I stay, they live?" "Yes." "Then I stay." Gabriel smiled. "You are the light." As she stepped into the center of the room, a warm light enveloped her. The hospital's whispers faded. The weight lifted. Gabriel faded into shadow, leaving her alone. Days passed, or perhaps years. Time no longer held meaning in room 23. Clara remained. She walked the corridors, silent, unseen by the others. The hospital, once dying, now thrived in a strange way. Patients were calm, peaceful. The deaths had stopped, but so had the healing. Without Gabriel, the balance shifted, and Clara felt it. Each night, she returned to the room. It was hers now. The walls whispered differently, no longer pleading but remembering. She sat in the center, reading the old files, learning about the others who had come before her. Names lost to time, faces blurred in the past. Each one had chosen, as she had. One evening, Anna came. She had never stopped searching for Clara, and when she entered the hospital, she felt it too, the weight of something hidden. She found room 23 open. Clara stood inside, bathed in soft light. "Clara, oh my God, I've been looking for you." Clara smiled faintly. "You shouldn't have come. Come home, please." Clara shook her head. "I am home." Anna stepped closer. "What happened to you?" "I found the truth. I became what I was meant to be." "This isn't you." "It is. I protect them now." Anna's eyes filled with tears. "Let me help you." Clara touched her sister's hand. "You already have." The light grew, surrounding them. Anna staggered back. "Clara, don't." "Goodbye, Anna." The door closed. forever. Some say the hospital finally shut down. Others whisper that room 23 is still there, untouched, locked from within. And if you listen, truly listen, you can hear her voice. Guiding, watching, waiting. The end.